good morning. Sorry, cat from Thailand. Welcome back to me. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Thailand. And yes, it's 1 Jan. 1 Jan, which means in English, Monday. Monday morning here in Thailand, or the remains of it. And still quite cloudy and still quite dull. We haven't had a sunny day now for a few days now. It's getting quite concerning. It just reminds me if I was back in England now, it would look, or Denmark, or the rest of the countries I've used to live in the UK, in Europe. I lived in a few countries. I lived in Scandinavia. I lived in Spain. I lived in what's it called? No, it's a sunny day. So, for instance, it's weird not to see the sun. Still 30 degrees and around that time. There's a real feel of 38 today on the news, and I'm like, nah, don't think so. But yeah, so for instance, and I'm kind of struggling to pick myself up, to kind of like, look forward to tomorrow, Wednesday morning for me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning for me. That's great. Kevin De Bruyne's last game against Bournemouth at the Etihad, last game of the season, last comedy game of the season, and it's at 2 a.m. in the morning, 8 o'clock kickoff. Who come up with that stupid idea? And as well, a Tuesday as well. Why can't they give us an extra day? My God, to prepare to kind of like get, because it's get the fans, back up again, but because it is a real pump. It really, I do feel I've been punched here. And really do, for instance, I was so much looking forward to getting this game. I thought it was going to be a tough game. I knew what they were about, Palace, but I thought, for instance, we had it within us was to go to make a difference and to get there and get to get those and to get that win and to score that goal, and we didn't. And it really is. Oh, I could scream. I really can. And for instance, and they just really sent it down on me for the weather as well, and not seeing the sun. And one of the reasons why I moved out here is because of the sun and the weather. And so for instance, and having to avoid everything to do with sports media and for instance, because I just don't want to see. It was bad enough seeing the Rags pick it up last season, but I could accept it because we won the league. But this team was trophless apart from the Charity Shield, and was 6th position, and oh my God, it's just not good. And honestly, I've been trying to look at the other content creators, Man City content creators, staying away from LB at the moment, etc. I think he's he needs to calm down a little bit. Had a panel show, and so I'm not listening. For instance, too much. I rather kind of like listen to the other guys, etc., and see what they had to say. So I listened to Typical City and Big Steve this morning, and listened to Nobbins, etc., for instance, and because he normally looks at it tactically, he didn't do it that time, but he normally kind of stands back a bit and kind of looks at why we didn't do it, what was the reason. He hasn't done a full show of that yet, but he did give his views. But for instance, but he's gutted like me. There was a consensus across the board. Even Wayne Rooney, I believe, said it. Whatever. Anyway, appears that why the hell wasn't it a red card for the handball? And outside the box, clear handball, clear red card. It's not even, and to sit there and say the ball was going away. The goalkeeper pushed the ball away from goal. But Haaland could easily have intercepted that ball before he pushed it away from goal, and then knocked it over his head from an angle. Or gone round the goalkeeper. For instance, it was a clear handball, clear sending off. If not, a yellow card. A yellow card or a direct free kick, or a red card and a direct free kick, or something, whatever. But just do give City nothing, and to say it's okay, and come up with some VAR decision, and to say that was, it's scandalous. It really is. And I know it's Man City, and we're not going to get the rub of the green, and we're not going to get the people on side, because everybody's going to I love Palace and blah blah blah, and hate Man City, and so of course, and we're never going to get, for instance, the decision not going our way. So we're always going to have, So for instance, but it's just, it's wrong. It's wrong, absolutely wrong. Henderson, the game could have changed on that. Maybe it does, maybe it didn't. Maybe the second goalkeeper could have been played a worldie, but it'd been down to 10 men. For instance, and it's not like we needed help. Well, maybe we did, but it's just the fact that, for instance, you want a fair game, and this is what annoys me. And with the concussion substitutes and that's concussion nonsense and the time wasting, it really did annoy the hell out of me, for instance, like that. And I know people say, well, it's up to Man City to be better, for instance. And I'll come on to that in a second. But I just believe, for instance, the referee should have been stronger. For instance, he was very quick to bring out the yellow cards against Man City players, but very slow was to go to book Dean Henderson. He finally booked him for time wasting. Was a goal, but we're talking about in the 97th minute, for Christ's sake. For instance, it's just ridiculous, and so I don't agree. And it's awful the fact that Pep can't come out and say what he feels about the decisions, and we have to leave it to the. There's no apologise from the PGMOL. There's nothing to say, they were on to not, because it was basically a game-changing decision, and to sit there and give nothing to City, not even a booking, not a yellow card, nothing, and not a free kick, nothing. Just say, oh, it's okay now to handle the ball at the, because quite honestly, the goalkeepers now are going to go, maybe I can do that. I can get away with it. Because the whole thing now is grey area. That whole rule now is grey area. We don't know now. We don't know. For instance, everybody thought it was clear and obvious. We like the handball decisions, now it's all grey area. Before it was clear and obvious. Goalkeeper hands it, boom, he's off. Simple as that. But no, not anymore. Not anymore. It's a grey area. There's a grey area. But if the goal goes that way, since when has that been? And honestly, I've been watching football ever since 1976. It's 2025 now, and I've never heard of that yet. So, for instance, I just don't get it. I really don't. So, but so let's move on. I was listening to Nobbins and see what he had to say. He said he said we couldn't score a goal. We just, we did everything but score a goal. Pep Guardiola also in his press conferences, he was saying we played well. To a point, I would agree with him, because we don't like, for instance, it was a 50-50 game. They had a lot more chances. It was City had all the ball, but we just did not know what to do with it when we got down to the last. And he was the best place to go. And I think everything was relying on Kevin De Bruyne to do something. Savinho, they were just the disjointedness of the play. Players were getting in front of other players. For instance, there was nobody, for instance, saying we're going to do this way, don't do that way. Somebody running into the box or something, or it was just everything. The passes over to Haaland, either one. It was Nobbins was saying when Doku, when Haaland went towards the ball went over the top from Doku. When he went back from the ball, the ball went near post. In his Savinho puts in a couple of good crosses in the first half, in the second half, thinking right, okay, but there was nobody. It was just knocking them through good crosses, but there was nobody there. So, for instance, why is not nobody running in? Why is not anticipating? And yes, there was a lot of side to side like this. But for instance, there was chances created, but we didn't. Just like Southampton, we didn't score them. Was this a red flag? I did feel that, for instance, after the Wolves game where we won 1-0, we were quite poor. We had got a blend when we got Nico Riley and Nunez in the back four, and then I thought there were Kovacic, etc. For instance, and we had that team, and that we were winning games then, and we stopped the rot, as it were. But I thought after the Sunday, when he changed it, we brought Kanji back, etc. I thought things was changed a little bit, and Nunez got dropped. I think, for instance, things have changed back. There was no overlapping runs. I say it was exactly. We had Savinho and Kanji. Kanji doing an overlapping run. He doesn't do that. For instance, and there was nobody overlapping runs on the left hand side either. So, for instance, it was the fact that we couldn't And for this is what the guys were saying. There was nobody. There was nothing creative. The only person who was trying to we left it to creativity was Kevin De Bruyne, and all his passes either went to side or went to it was overhit or that. For instance, yeah, it was heart disheartening to watch because you thought, well, and yes, and bringing on Echeverry over Jack Grealish, that was the debate there, and how Jack Grealish feels. Big Steve was saying, but I can understand why he brought on Echeverry. And Jack Grealish is a great guy for instance, want to hold the ball up. He's not going to score a goal, so I can understand why, for instance, you would bring on Jack Grealish, but then again, Jack Grealish doesn't score a goal, and that's the problem. So, for instance, you bring it on Jack Grealish to hold up the ball. So, for instance, you need somebody to score a goal. So, for instance, the reason why I bring in Foden, but Foden on the for Savio is not gonna. He's not gonna say. For instance, he's not gonna. He needs to. He's a midfielder. So, for instance, if you're going to get, get Phil Foden being back the way he normally plays, but yeah. So there was just so many things about the game, etc. For instance, which were a lot of people criticizing Pep now. What's it called? And yeah, so as Pep said, you either if the things paid off, if Echeverry scored the goal, everybody would be praising Pep. For instance, if he doesn't come off, he's the one. There was one guy, for instance, I think it was 93-20 or something. And he was Pep out that fraud. I'm sorry, you can't go down that route. And with typical City, for instance, when he said no chance, you can't go that way. You can't do, for instance, and people are talking now. He feels like he's in his autumn years now. He's run out of ideas. And a lot of managers are responsible for the lineups and the players and how in pitch and whatever. But it's up to the players what's going to come out and do it. And a lot of we can criticise Prep 100% this season, but a lot of players have got to step up. Phil Foden, Pep Guardiola is not responsible for Phil Foden's form this season, or is it? I don't know. I doubt it. Kevin De Bruyne is injured. That was nothing to do with Pep. There was, for instance, the injuries to defenders. That had nothing to do with Pep. So, for instance, we can criticise Pep, and he deserves to be criticised for some of. I think he needs to change it a lot quicker. For instance, against Southampton, things are not working. I urged him in the match video to change it, but if it doesn't work, then don't check. It needs to. You need to change it, so I can criticize. He deserves criticism, but the team a whole deserves criticism. And apart from Joshua Guardiola, personally, if you ask me, who's been solid throughout. So, but other than that, yeah, just major disappointed. But Rodri and Kovacic being injured. I don't think he was injured. I think he was ill, and he was saving it for Bournemouth because Bournemouth is now massive quickly. We're now in sixth position. Nottingham Forest won. Beat West Ham, beat West Ham, so they're in the same points as us. 3 points would 46, 47, 48, 49, etc. would put us 45, sorry, 46, 47, 48 would put us way in good position going into Fulham last game of the season, and just 1 point would do. What's it called? But we desperately got to win that game, so we've got to score goals, and we've got to, yeah. So we have, So it's a mega important. Yeah. So for instance, in Nobbins, just we need to just score a goal. It just, I totally agree. Let's see what Peppers had to say. For instance, on this, he had his second half press conference, and let's see what he had to say. Yeah, it was. I think he was asked a few questions, a few interesting questions of his second part of his question about the his press conference. Is to me. Let me just have a look. Joe, no, sorry. Got the internet. Come on, get it all organised. I swear to God. There you go. Okay, let's move on. Here we go. Right, okay. It's better to play Bournemouth winning the FA Cup. Wins help winnings. too many W's. Now is to prove how strong we are. When we play badly, I'm incredibly honest. I say we don't deserve it. It happened last season against United, but we didn't play good. But this year we didn't. We don't. We don't. But I had a really good feeling that we made a really, really good game. So, okay, okay. We have to recover quickly. It's a big disappointment because we're here to win. Listening, and we lose. It's not good. You're sad, but in the end, you have to deserve to win. So. On leaving Rico Lewis and McAtee out. Previously, we have a very small squad. Now we've got 24 players back, for instance, and some of them, unfortunately, people have to be left out. So, but people are saying, well, McAtee and Lewis got you to the final. So, but again, it is a difficult one. I would say after 9 years, we've already rebuilt. In 9 years, you're not the same players when we arrived, but I think Man City has ideas from my point of view now. We have a massive important game, two massive important games in the short term of the future. Kevin De Bruyne, I have to take care of myself. This is after his feelings. I have to take care of myself if I get injured in the club World Cup. What am I going to do? So he's basically saying he's not going to play in the World Cup. Nobody's going to take care of me, and that's my point. So it's a big chance I probably won't play in it. So no surprise there. And then what's it called? Man City will target on transfers. Well, 4 major signings this summer. Hugo Varane has started work on adding 2 midfielders, a left back and a right back to the squad. Nothing new. 180 million quid. Man City going to spend on Tiana Reiners and Verts. God, I hope it happens. So I've got to prepare. We got to wake up and prepare for. We'll have to listen to Pep. I don't know if that's his press conference, press view of tomorrow's game. But let's see. We've got Bournemouth. We've got to pick ourselves up. We've got a massive game. I think City fans will be up for it. It is a massive game for us. Probably the biggest game of the season. Most important game because we've got to get that Champions League spot. 3 points and it's almost done. So, and it's the last home game of the season. It's an awful time, 8 o'clock, 2 a.m. for me. But we've got to susu, as they say in Thailand. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you. So, it's True Blue Time from Thailand. I hope you're doing well. I hope you got back safe and you're picking yourself up. And Sunday wasn't too bad for you. Again, I avoided football yesterday. Just listened to the results, etc. I believe Newcastle lost, so that was a help. So, for instance, and keeps us all together in a bunch. So, but 3 points tomorrow and Wednesday, 8 o'clock, for instance, and things will be looking a little bit rosier. Okay, but we've got to score a goal, and that's something we're not doing. Anyway, guys. True Blue Time from Thailand. Sorry to cap. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking. How are you feeling this morning about the game? Have you is your frown turned up a little bit? Are you looking forward to Tuesday? Are you going? Big up to you if you're going. And anyway, so sorry, cat from Thailand. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Okay.